Hi, Jackie here. Welcome back to my channel. Showing a layout for One Sketch 3 Ways, March 2026. And we're using day 8 of 30 days of sketches. I'll leave a link to both our Facebook group and the 30 days of sketches group. And the layout is designed by Braina Spors. I'm using a photograph of James on a pretend motorbike when we was on the Disney Fantasy, and I'm using a selection of Vicki Boutin's American craft collection. I've mixed them all up now. They're all in one box, so I'm not really sure which collections they're from, but they're a mixture of Bold and Bright, Let's Wander, Sugar Rush, and there might be another one in there as well. So you'll see me using all the bits and pieces from that collection as I go further along with this video. So as you can see, in the top left hand corner is the sketch, and I am doing 2 layers as is on the sketch, and I decided to use the black star and this yellow paper. And when I put it all together, I just think there's something missing. I think there needs another 3 or 4 layers behind that. So I decided that I want to try and use this bit, but I wasn't keen on using it. One, it didn't really fit in, but the other thing is it had green on it, and I wasn't using any green. I wanted to stick to the blue and the black if possible, with just that pop of yellow, as you can see there. So I swapped that out, and I've got some tags. Again, I don't know which collection these are from, and I'm just gonna trim them down to leave a small border, and that is going to go to the left of my photograph so that I can add some journaling later. Like I said, I'm not sure what collections they are, but they are all Vicki Boutin's, I know that. So I'm going to distress all the edges of my pattern paper. I even distress the tag as well. Obviously I don't show you all that because it's a bit boring you watching me distress paper, but you know how it goes. So I'll just distress all the edges there, just lightly distress them this time. I didn't want normally I'd do them a bit harder and have a bit of a tear into them, but these are just lightly distressing. So here it is, where I've found 3 different patterns of blue paper, and I'm just trying to decide what I want to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to back my photograph with this blue paper from here, and just leaving a slight border, and I do distress all the edges. And then I use one of the dark blue paper to make another photo mat, if you will, put another strip. But when I put it all together, there's too much blue on blue on the right hand side of my layout. So you'll see. So I just think, oh, this is a good idea. It doesn't turn out to be a good idea. And I just cut it down, and I think, right, I'll use that. I even shape the end, as you'll see in a minute, and distress all the side before I realised that it's not really what I want to do. What I want to use, sorry. So as I said, this layout is for One Sketch 3 Ways. I'll leave a link to our Facebook group, and also to Helen and Sarah's videos down below. YouTube channel, should I say, down below. Where you can see how they've interpreted this sketch. So I've just added some 3D foam pads back to the reverse of my photograph, and still thinking I'm going to put these here, and here's where you see that it's too much blue on the right hand side. I do a lot of faffing with this layout, well, as I do with most of my layouts, especially when I'm videoing. Then I decide that I know what I'll do. I'll change it up for that blue. Again, forgot to press the button to record, but I've just done exactly the same. Cut it down to size, shaped it at the bottom, and I'm much happier with the paler blue, just breaking that right hand side up. So I'm going to add these all together, and then I am going to concentrate on the left hand side of my pattern paper. So I'm just going to put them all together, simply put them all together, and then mark off where I want. I'm going to use a stencil. It's a simple story stencil with loads of arrows on it. I don't know what collection it's from. It's a very old one. well, very old, it's a couple of years old, but it's one of those ones that's really useful. So I'm just going to put I always put 3D foam around the all of the tag, just so that it elevates the tag when I'm putting ribbon in or string in. So there's that stencil I'm using, and I'm using faded jeans, Distress Oxide faded jeans underneath for my ink blending. And I do think, I'm just going to do a small section of that left hand side, but I do end up doing the whole of the left hand side using this stencil just to add extra detail. So again, I'm not going to show you everything I do, because it's just simply just using a blending brush and just blending the colours through the stencil. And then I decide that I want to use it top and bottom. So I have turned it upside down. So I wanted all the arrows to more or less go in the right flow direction. And I've just used a piece of photocopy paper just so that I don't over blend the top of where the two designs meet, if you will. So I think I'm gonna stick it down now. Again, more faffing, adding, do I need to add that? Oh yes, this is going to decide. As you can see on the sketch in the top left corner, it's got some chevrons and arrows and things like that. So I decide that I'm just going to place them first before I put them down. Again, more faffing. I do end up only using 2 of the clusters of arrows, of chevrons, sorry. Not 3 like I've got on screen now. So I just thought, right, I need to commit and stick my photo mat down, which I do, to the right of the paper. I follow the sketch for placement. And like I said, this sketch is from 30 Days of Sketches. Again, I'll leave a link in the description box below. Each day throughout March, there's somebody else who designs a sketch. There's loads of inspiration on the Facebook group. Again, I'll leave the link to where you can see that. And I'll also leave a link to Braina's YouTube as well, so you can see how she's done what she's done with the original sketch and design. So I'm just going to add these, do I add the arrows now? Oh, I'm going to add the title. So off camera, I'd put 3 titles, and I think I'd put On Your Bike, Let's Go. On Your Bike, I didn't have any A's, so I decided not to use that. So next one was going to be Let's Go. So I do go through and put in Let's Go, getting all the letters off the sheet for Let's Go, actually putting Let's Go on the layout, and then I change my mind and I go with Hop On, because that's what I said to him, hop on, so I can have a photograph. So that's what I end up doing. So like you can see here, I go for all the rigmarole of adding the title. Luckily for me, they're not these because the collection is very old. These stickers are not very sticky, so I was easily able to move them. Is that right? I was remove them easily. I think I was able to remove them easily and add Hop On instead. I even go to get the apostrophe as well. So anyway, so that's what I did. So I ended up doing that and then changing it. So I think I jump in a minute. So where I decide that I don't want Let's Go, and it'll change to Hop On. So there you go, Hop On, including exclamation mark. Now it's time to add some of the arrows from this collection and some of the phrase stickers. So I'm just going through these collections, should I say. I'm just going through all the sticker sheets and chipboard pieces that I've got for all these collections, and just choosing some of the arrows and a couple of the word strips as well. So I think, yes, so I'm just going to add these wood chevrons. These are from Hey Little Magpie. So these are in my stash. So these are from Hey Little Magpie. Everything I use are things that I have personally bought. It's not a advert for Hey Little Magpie, but I'm just saying where I've purchased them from. So I had two arrows, I keep calling them arrows, 2 chevrons to the top and 2 chevrons to the side, and I leave the third one off. I'll show you in a minute what I do, because I end up adding stamps and other bits and pieces around as well. So again, I'm just trying to be a bit random, but a bit structured as well. So I'm trying to be a bit random with where I'm putting all my arrows and all my stamp images, but I want it to look a bit random at the best, you know, if you will. So I find this word strip that says PS, don't forget to have fun, but it had a green bit at the end, so I've just cut that off. I was going to put it to the right hand side of the photograph, but it ends up underneath the title. And I'm still looking for other bits and pieces that I can have. I've got some puffy stickers in these collections, and they've got loads of arrows on. So I end up having several of these arrows dotted around the page. And then I want to add 3 clusters, so I can have some little bits of clustering areas. So I decide to use this spotted paper from one of the 6x8 pieces I'd just cut down. I think it was the one that I used behind my photograph. So I'm just going to put one at the top here, one to the right hand side, and one just under the journaling spot. I do cut that in half because I'd got the foam thicker pad and I couldn't push it right through, but you only need to see a portion of it anyway. So there I've got my 3 journaling spots, and then I find this. I think this is from a papery packet, because it's quite thin, and I think you're meant to pull the backing off and it'll stick down. But I just added some Nouveau Deluxe glue to the back and just slotted it in the back like that, so it just an added feature to that right hand side. And then I found this other word strip that says, you are here to do what makes you feel alive. And again, I think that's from the papery pack, and I just add Nouveau Deluxe glue to the back and just stick it down at the bottom. This little word strip that said widely wonderful, which I'm looking at my layout now, and it looks like it's a bit wonky. It's completely stuck down, so I can't even get that off. I add some tags I've cut apart. I think again from a papery pack. I don't know which one. What else? I think there's a tag. I did have that green. I don't know why I went through and got some green bits out. There's a little ticket here that again I cut in half. I was going to use it in 2 places, but I've only used it in one. I do put it in slanted. And I was going to use the second half there, but it was it was too blue. And then I thought I'd put him out at the side, but that didn't happen. I do take that off. Let's see. Yeah, so this is where I put that one at the bottom. You are here. Strip. Keep going through my bits and pieces that I've put into the tray, thinking I will use. See if there's any more arrows I can use. So there's quite a few arrows on here, the puffy arrows that I do dot about on the page. I also put I put one arrow on in the right hand cluster, the right side cluster as well, which just like indicates from James to the word hop on. And then I do find a blue heart that I just stick that at the top as an added extra. Again, like I said, I'm moving all these arrows around. I just wanted to, even though I wanted them to look random, they are placed. They are placed, if you will. And like I said, it's for one sketch 3 ways. Please come over to our Facebook page and join us. We'd love to see how you use this sketch, whether you turn it around, leave all these arrows off like you don't have to put all these arrows on like this, make it in a smaller size. It's just good to see how other people look at a sketch and how they deal with it to get their layout. So I've just added some puffy stickers, one of them on the tag that says today, and one that says chilling. And I think, there's one at the top, in the top cluster that says #1. So I also have some Hey Little Magpie flare badges. I think these are called Nautical on the website. And then I'm just going to put a flare badge just there. I was going to use the wheel, but I do use the anchor because the anchor's blue. And it just works well with my layout. And as I said, I don't know if I said at the beginning, but we was on the Disney Fantasy cruise ship last year, so it's nice to have something to say that we were on actually a cruise. And now I'm going to add some mini words around the page. Obviously, it's not in the original sketch. But I just thought it just needed to break up some of those big gaps that we have. So I've got my stamps out, some of the Elles Studio stamps. So the first one I'm going to use is this one that says Life Right Now. And that's from the Everyday Life stamp that was in January 2026. And I'm just going to... I think I do. Yes, I do. I had more than one. I had one there, which I was just going to leave it as one. But then I do add another stamp of this phrase at the bottom. And then I use my Elles Studio again, markup stamps, and they're from April 2025. And they're just a set of all different shape of arrows and circles and squiggly lines. And I've just used a couple of those around the page. Some of them I use off the page. So this one I'm going to use is this, I don't know, it's not a solid. What's the outline? That's it. The outline of a stamp. I always stamp onto plain paper just to make sure the image is going to be as crisp as I want it to be. And then I'm just stamping around the page. Like I said, I want it to look random, but it's not random really, because I am putting them in specific positions around the page. And it's easier for me to turn the page around like I'm doing, having it upside down, than me having to try and stand up, especially when I'm filming, and do the layout the right way up, if you get me. So again, and I've just used the same ink. I've used Faded Jeans. So it's the same ink that I've used to go through the stencil previously. I'm just checking that that arrow is long enough or to be on the page. I didn't want it too long. And then there are some smaller ones, so it's the right size for what I wanted around the page. And then I do add some little phrases as well, and they're from, let's see, so the phrase stamps are called Daily Tab stamps, and they're from January 2021. So I've just gone through my phrases and just looked at what I needed, what I liked. And on this set, it says, one of the phrases says, loved this day. Another one said, on this day, and this moment, which I use black for these words. And I just stamped them. I've obviously stamped them off camera. And then I've punched out some Mickey heads using scraps of the paper and some black cardstock and adding to the 3 clusters. And then this one, I just wanted to tuck it behind, so I've just cut it in half. Added some Nouveau glue and positioned it in that little cluster there. And if you didn't see it on camera, you wouldn't have known that it was cut in half. Now I'm just going to add some black and white checkered ribbon, shape it at the end. Make sure I use the correct scissors because that one doesn't do. And I'm just going to put it through the hole and I'll staple it in position. And I think that's where I finish. I think that's the last thing I do on this page. Let's see. So I'm just going to use my tiny attacher. If I can get the foam pads up. And just stick that down. And here are a few close-ups. Can you see the words? And I've used some chipboard splatters. So I've got little words phrases in between. The Mickey heads and the tag. You can see the stencil detail as well. Wooden chevrons. Phrases at the bottom. A lovely title. I love those foam titles. So thank you very much for stopping by. Please like and subscribe to my channel. Here are a few close-ups. If you hop over to my Instagram account, you'll be able to see them more clearly, the close-ups more clearly. And don't forget to check out Ellen and Sarah's YouTube channels, which I've left a link in the description box below. Thank you very much. Till next time. See you soon. Bye.